Come on, Cohagen, you got what you want? Give these people air. Brought to you by the new Pharaoh's Lounge Kickstarter. Jets, Giants, the showdown for New York by two teams that are fractured beyond repair. But there's 2,500 in the pool, 250 to first place, money for those that need to build their fantasy skills. Not so much about the money as it's about your skills. Got to learn how to take down tournaments on a regular basis. Otherwise, we're nothing. We're nothing. Top cards in the deck: Saquon Barkley, Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, Daniel Jones, Tyrod Taylor, Darren Waller. Everyone's banged the fuck up. Saquon Barkley doesn't have an injury designation for Sunday's game against the Jets. The lack of an injury designation isn't particularly surprising after Barkley was able to return last Sunday's win over the Commanders after hyperextending his elbow during the contest. He finished the game with an 83% snap share and 24 touches, after handling 79% of snaps and 28 touches the week before in a loss to Buffalo in his first game back from an ankle injury. Barkley should be busy again this Sunday and will once again have quarterback Tyrod Taylor alongside him in the backfield, rather than Daniel Jones. Tyrod Taylor is on the board. Breece Hall. Really? No new news. No news. Literally no fucking news on Breece Hall. It's Saturday. Nobody's got anything to report about Breece Hall. The fuck's going on here? Fuck the Jets played who? The Jets didn't they beat somebody? They won, didn't they? No, they're on a bye week. That's why. That's why. All right. Breece Hall rushed 12 times for 39 yards and a touchdown, while catching all five of his targets for 54 yards in Sunday's win over the Eagles. Running room was hard to come by against Philadelphia's stout front, but Hall stayed involved in the offense as a pass catcher out of the backfield, notching his second most receiving yards of his young career while recording at least 5 catches for the first time since week 3 of his rookie season. After New York's defense returned Jalen Hurts' third interception of the game to the 8-yard line, Hall scored on an 8-yard rushing touchdown the next play to put the Jets ahead 20-14 with 1:46 remaining in the fourth quarter. With 42 touches in the past 2 games, Hall has reclaimed the lead role in New York's backfield after being brought along slowly to start the season, and will be fresh for a heavy workload in Week 8 against the Giants after the Jets' Week 7 bye. So we got to read them fucking Jets. Garrett Wilson caught 8 of 12 targets for 90 yards in Sunday's win over the Eagles. Wilson accounted for 90 of Zach Wilson's passing yards despite having a 25-yard catch erased by a blindside block called on Allen Lazard. New York's top pass catcher was seen talking to trainers on the sideline in the fourth quarter and went to the x-ray room after the game, though head coach Robert Saleh said that Wilson could have returned to the game. Wilson's availability for Week 8 against the Giants after a Week 7 bye doesn't appear to be in question, but his participation in practice will still be worth monitoring once the Jets begin preparing for the interstate clash. Allen Lazard is on the board. Zach Wilson is on the board. Daniel Jones. Head coach Brian Daboll was non-committal Friday when asked if Jones will definitively play again this season. Daboll previously said Jones would be the team's starting quarterback once he gained medical clearance, and while that's presumably still the case, it's not clear when that will actually happen. Jones has been taking scout team reps since last week, with his availability for games based on gaining clearance for contact from the medical staff rather than his ability to participate in practice. Jones is tending to his second significant neck injury in 3 years, and there's reportedly a risk of suffering a nerve spinal injury, severe, if he takes contact before the fully issue subsides. That's a great $40 million investment. The Giants haven't ruled Jones out beyond Sunday's game against the Jets, but it certainly sounds like he's in danger of missing additional time. Tyrod Taylor will make a third consecutive start this Sunday. That's 2 for Taylor. Speaking of which, Tyrod Taylor will start Sunday's game against the Jets after Daniel Jones was ruled out. Taylor would make his third straight start after nearly upsetting the Bills in Week 6 and then leading the Giants to a 14-7 win over the Commanders in Week 7. The Giants are still expected to return Jones to the starting role once he's medically cleared, though head coach Brian Daboll was non-committal Friday when asked if Jones would be available to play again this season. According to Dan Duggan of The Athletic, with that in mind, Taylor could have more starts in his future, even if Daboll wasn't ready to confirm anything beyond this Sunday. Tyrod fucking Taylor. Darren Waller is listed as questionable for Sunday's game against the Jets. The Giants have confidence Waller will be available this weekend, even though the tight end was a limited participant in practices Wednesday through Friday. Waller is coming off a season-best 897-1 receiving line in last week's win over the Commanders and is on track to again serve as the top target for quarterback Tyrod Taylor, who will make a third consecutive start in place of Daniel Jones. Jones still doesn't have medical clearance for contact and appears in serious danger of missing more games beyond Week 8. That is 3 for Taylor. The popular boy. Down to the bottom of the deck, and then we get all the way up to Zach Wilson. Gunnar Olszewski signed to the practice squad. Just 2 days after being released by Pittsburgh, Olszewski has officially found another opportunity with the Giants. However, barring an injury, it doesn't seem like the Giants will be pressured to elevate Olszewski anytime soon. Well then, fuck off. All right, injured reserve, Israel Abanikando. We got another Jet here. Irwin Charles. Robert Saleh said Friday that Charles is doubtful for Sunday's game against the Giants. Charles is suited up for each of the Jets' last 2 games, handling a depth role on offense while also contributing on special teams. But it looks like he will need to sit out Sunday's matchup. If so, his next chance to take the field will be Week 9 versus the Chargers. Brownlee. All right, so we're looking for the Eagles game. 10:15. 10:15. But these guys, the Giants played last week, right? Yes. Commanders. Jets will have to click the Jets. We'll have to click on every Jet. I know, it's a fucking heartbreaker. Oop, Eric Gray. We got some recent news on Mr. Gray. Placed on injured reserve. In a corresponding move, the Giants signed Jashwan Corbin from the Panthers practice squad. Gray sustained the calf injury against the Commanders and will be forced to miss the next 4 games. He's eligible to return against the Patriots on November 26th. Corbin? I guess Jashwan Corbin is on the board. Jay Schwan. Anything on Mr. Corbin? Is he in here? I don't see any Jay Sean Corbin. All right, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. Cager, Shepard, Bellinger, these guys can fuck off. Nick Borden. Active for Sunday's matchup against the Eagles. That's before. He didn't play. No new news. Fuck off. Ruckert caught his only target for 8 yards in Sunday's win over the Eagles. Ruckert and CJ Uzoma have combined for only 9 targets through 6 games, while Tyler Conklin has been targeted 27 times to easily lead the Jets' tight ends. On the bright side, Ruckert has been efficient, catching all 4 of his targets. So Uzoma and Conklin. CJ Uzoma is on the board. Tyler Conklin is on the board. Gary Brightwell has been ruled out for Sunday's contest against the Jets. Brightwell didn't practice at all during Week 8 prep, and he's thus been ruled out for Sunday's matchup. The third-year running back has been used mostly on special teams this season, and he hasn't logged an offensive snap since Week 4. However, with rookie Eric Gray moved to IR on Tuesday, the Giants currently signed Jashwan Corbin and Deion Jackson to serve as depth behind Saquon Barkley and Matt Breida out of the backfield. That's 2 for Corbin. Uzoma and Conklin on the other side. That's the problem when you have Jets and Giants. You got to write them both down. That's Corbin. Barkley is Saquon Barkley's on the board. Matt Breda is on the board. Deion Jackson is on the board. I don't think we'll see them, but they're on the board regardless. We'll take a look. CJ Uzoma didn't catch his lone target in Sunday's win over the Eagles. Tyler Conklin has at least 3 catches in each of the New York's last 5 games, while Uzoma has just 5 targets all season. Uzoma and Jerry Ruckert now have 4 catches apiece on the year. So the veteran has a tenuous grasp on the number 2 tight end role heading into the Week 7 bye. Conklin, that's 2 for Conklin. And Jeremy Ruckert is on the board. Ruckert. And we clicked on Eric Gray. They didn't say anything about Saquon Barkley. I just want to see. Yeah, nothing about Barkley. You just like to see how other players affect other players. Which takes us to Campbell. It's old news. So we didn't click. Ford Wheaton, Houston, Randall Cobb. Randall Cobb is questionable for Sunday's game against the Giants. Cobb didn't practice Wednesday coming out of the Jets' Week 7 bye, then logged limited practice participation Thursday and Friday. If the veteran slot receiver sits Sunday, rookie Xavier Gibson and Jason Brownlee could be the top candidates for additional snaps, with New York having traded wide receiver Mecole Hardman to Kansas City last week. Xavier Gibson is on the board. Jason Brownlee is on the board. Michael Carter rushed once for 5 yards and didn't catch his only target in Sunday's win over the Eagles. Carter once again finished third among New York's running backs in touches behind Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook. Expect Carter to remain a depth role after the Jets' Week 7 bye. Breece Hall is on the board. Dalvin Cook is on the board. Xavier Gibson rushed once for 18 yards in Sunday's win over the Eagles. Gibson suited up after hurting his ankle in practice during the week. The electric return man didn't get a chance but to make any returns on special teams, perhaps due to the ankle injury. But Gibson looked spry on his only offensive touch, which produced the longest rushing play for either team. Isaiah Hodgins, old fucking news. Fuck your mother. Darius Slayton caught one of 2 targets for 22 yards in Sunday's victory versus the Commanders. Slayton posted season-best marks of 4 catches and 69 yards against Buffalo in Week 6, but he followed that effort with season-low totals of just 1 catch and 2 targets against Washington. His lone reception came near the end of the first quarter, and he was targeted just once after that. Meanwhile, Darren Waller led New York with 7 catches, 8 targets, and 98 yards, and rookie Jalen Hyatt finished second in both targets and receiving yards. Waller is the only pass catcher that has established week-to-week fantasy value for the Giants so far this season, while Slayton ranks second on the team with 258 yards through the air on the campaign. He's yet to find the end zone through 7 contests. Waller and Hyatt. Darren Waller is on the board. Jalen Hyatt is on the board. Matt Breda carried the ball 3 times for 4 yards and caught his only target for 5 yards in Sunday's win over Washington. Breda had seen an uptick in snaps with Saquon Barkley out with an ankle injury between Week 3 and 5, but he followed last Sunday's 4-carry effort with just 3 totes against the Commanders. The veteran back didn't do much with his limited opportunities, as his 4 yards on the ground were a season-low mark. As long as Barkley is able to play, Breda has very limited fantasy value given the Giants' propensity to use Barkley heavily in both the running and passing game. Ooh, that's 2 for Barkley. Breda's pretty much useless. Jalen Hyatt caught 2 of 5 targets for 75 yards in Sunday's win over the Commanders. The rookie caught passes of 33 and 42 yards while flashing the speed that caused the Giants to trade up in this year's draft to select him in the 3rd round. Hyatt doesn't offer much more than an ability to stretch the field at this stage of his career, but 4 of his first 9 NFL receptions have gone for 30 yards or more. Regardless of whether Daniel Jones or Tyrod Taylor is under center in Week 8, Hyatt could have a hard time making an impact against the stingy Jets secondary. The Jets defense is on the board, and that's 4 for Taylor. Dalvin Cook said Thursday he will speak with Jets general manager Joe Douglas about a possible trade due to frustrations with his role in the offense. Cook, who's carried the ball just 39 times for 109 yards across 6 appearances while hauling in 9 of his targets for 46 yards, is now operating as the clear backup to Breece Hall after opening the season in a timeshare. The veteran back has just 10 touches over the last 2 games while Hall has 42, so frustrations with his reduced role are understandable. But Cook has shown little from a production standpoint to convince the coaching staff that he's deserved of more touches. It's possible that Cook earns a few more reps during Sunday's game against the Giants after making his grievances with his role public. But even if he were to officially request the trade, there's no guarantee teams around the league would be willing to part with much draft capital to bring him aboard. That's 2 for Breece Hall. Sounds like he's a fucking problem. Tyler Conklin caught 3 of 4 targets for 24 yards in Sunday's win over the Eagles. Conklin wasn't a major part of the game plan as Zach Wilson threw for just 186 yards. But New York won the turnover battle 4-0 to pull off the upset win. Heading into a Week 7 bye, Conklin has caught at least 3 passes in all but 1 game. But he's still looking for his first touchdown of the season. Now, winning the turnover battle, is that a reference? That's a reference to the defense. I feel like I gotta give the defense. They don't mention the defense, they said, but New York won the turnover battle. Which means the defense fucked shit up. Yeah, that's 2 for the Jets, D. Come on. That's 2 for Zach Wilson. Look at that shit. I don't question the system, my friend. I'm an instrument of it. Graham Gano was a full participant in practice Thursday after participating on a limited basis Wednesday. It's a good sign that the kicker is on track to play for the 8th time in as many games this season, Sunday against the Jets. Gano has made all 7 extra point attempts of 10 and 14 field goals in 2023. Greg the Leg converted all 4 of his field goal attempts in Sunday's win over the Eagles. New York's defense forced 4 turnovers, giving the offense numerous short fields, but it took until the game's final 2 minutes for the Jets to finally find the end zone. Prior to that point, Zuerlein accounted for the team's first 12 points, which makes from 43, 42, 35, 38 yards. Zuerlein made a 60-yard field goal last season, but the Jets notably turned down a pair of opportunities from 55-plus in Sunday's win, electing to go for it and punt another time. Yeah, he's got to be a captain. At some point, Greg the Leg's like their only fucking offense, and he's always in the goddamn winning lineup. Alan Lazard caught 1 of 3 targets for 8 yards in Sunday's win over the Eagles. Lazard had an ugly series of plays with New York trailing 14-9 in the 3rd quarter, erasing a 25-yard Garrett Wilson catch with a blindside block to knock the Jets out of field goal range before registering a drop on his next play. He made amends with an 8-yard catch to convert on a 3rd and 7 in Philadelphia territory on New York's next drive, but it was Lazard's only catch of the game. He'll try to rebound in Week 8 against the Giants following Week 7 bye, but Lazard has now come up short of 50 yards in 5 of the first 6 games with the Giants. Garrett Wilson on the board. Garrett is on the board. Wan'Dale Robinson doesn't have an injury designation for Sunday's game against the Giants. The Giants continue to limit Robinson's practice workloads even though he hasn't missed the game or suffered a setback since his Week 3 debut. He's bounced back from the torn ACL that cut short his 22 campaign to reclaim his role as the primary slot receiver, averaging 4.6 catches for 32.6 yards on 5.4 targets. Robinson still isn't getting many snaps in the 2 receiver formations or many targets downfield, limiting his fantasy relevance to deeper formats for the time being. Yeah, but this guy's gonna pop the fuck off at some point. Old news. Old news. Practice squad Monday. This is new news. All right. DeVito returned to the Giants practice squad Monday. DeVito was activated for the second straight week to serve as Tyrod Taylor backup versus the Commanders, with Daniel Jones out of game. The rookie undrafted free agent is yet to play a snap, but could be activated again for Week 8 contests against the Jets if Jones is unable to make his return. That's 5 for Taylor. Taylor's going to be in every goddamn lineup. This is the game where he pops the fuck off. Yep. Rodgers threw on the field for approximately 5 minutes prior to the Jets' win over the Eagles on Sunday. It's news, relevant for their last. Though Rodgers was in a stationary position while throwing, he was notably stepping into each pass while putting weight on his surgically repaired left Achilles tendon. While Achilles injuries often entail a 6 to 9 month recovery, the 39-year-old has remained adamant since having his surgery September 13th that he'll beat the typical timeline and make it back on the field at some point during the 23 season. Since he's already moving about without crutches, Rodgers may be further along in his rehab process than most players 1 month removed from surgery. But he still has made several more critical checkpoints to hit in his recovery before the team would seriously entertain activating him from injured reserve. In all likelihood, the Jets would have to qualify for the playoffs and make a deep postseason run for Rodgers to become a realistic option to play. They'll say, but is it Zach's team? Jets D. Zach Wilson completed 19 of 33 passes for 186 yards without a touchdown or turnover in Sunday's win over the Eagles. He added 4 rushes for 15 yards and threw a 2-point conversion. Wilson came up short of 200 passing yards for the 5th time in 6 games, but he led New York to a second consecutive victory by avoiding costly turnovers, while Jalen Hurts threw 3 interceptions. Aaron Rodgers was seen throwing a football and walking without crutches, but his return likely remains months away, and Wilson is locked in as the Jets starter in Rodgers' absence. Wilson will try for a 3rd consecutive win in Week 8 against the Giants after a Week 7 bye. Aaron Rodgers. That's all. That's all he mentioned. Okay, so here we go. Got a lot of goddamn mentions in this one. A lot of point boosts. A lot of boosts. A lot of boosts. To change up our listings a little. Remember, brought to you by the new Faro's Lounge Kickstarter. Out of water. Good. Fucking throat is dry. I need to break, and I have to go and ship more comic books. Got stacks and stacks and stacks of comics back here. All right. Let's galvanize. Come on. Come on. All right. Starting with the Jets. Alan Lazard. 1-point bump. Zach Wilson. 2-point bump. I don't like doing the like system because I feel like it's only giving like a certain percentage. If the percent points are already low, you're not really doing much but just marking what's already there. Gotta try and invent your own system. That's what it says in the book. CJ Uzoma. 1-point boost. Tyler Conklin. 2-point boost. Jeremy Ruckert. Xavier Gibson. Brownlee. Nothing on Brownlee, huh? Tinker with it. Where's Brownlee? Lex Brownlee. There's Brownlee. Get So that's done. Where were we? Brownlee got a point. Brees Hall, 2 points. Dalvin Cook, 1 point. If he airs his grievances. The Jets defense, 2 points. Garrett Wilson, 1 point. On to the Giants side. Tyrod Taylor, we're giving him a 5 point fucking boost. The idea's fate is telling us that Tyrod's gonna pop the fuck off. Jayshwan Corbin, do we want to bother with this guy? Yeah, he's not even listed. I can worry about him. He wasn't even I don't even think he was listed in the game. So we're good. We're covered. Saquon Barkley got two. 2 point boost for Barkley. 1 point boost for Breda. Deion Jackson, did we see him anywhere? Not worried about him. Fuck him. Darren Waller. Again, these guys were practice squad signees. Waller gets a 1 point boost. And Jalen Hyatt. Bang. All right, on to our captains. Definitely not Shepard. Bellinger, no Rucker, Zoma, Campbell, Cobb, Carter, Gibson, Hodgins, Slayton, Hyatt. Nah. Cook, no. Conklin? Nah, it's a timeshare shit. Giants, no. Gano, he's done it before, so both those kickers are in play. Lazar could pop back. Wandale could be unleashed. Jets could fucking kill. Wilson get lucky. Waller's a target. Tyrod's a beast. Wilson, Hall, Barkley. There you go. Wait, I gotta change captains to 5%. Needs a flex. Let's see who's gonna get eliminated from the flex pool. I don't like wedging people in for the fuck of it. Brownlee will keep because he got mentioned, but fuck Shepard. He never does shit. Bellinger's fuck him. Keep Rucker. Keep Uzoma. Fuck Campbell. Fuck Cobb. Fuck Carter. Keep Gibson. Fuck Hodges. Slayton could still might do something. Breda, Hyatt, Cook, Conklin. Yep, there we go. All right, everybody's got their 1%. Now optimize, motherfucker. And the machine. We let the machine. That's what we got here. They do the full breakdown here, but I kind of like doing it this way. All right, so in terms of 20 captains, Tyrod Taylor 7 times, Zach Wilson 3, Saquon 2, and everybody else gets 1. Brees, Wandale, Garrett, Jets D, Zerline, Lazard, Waller, Gano. In the flex, of course, Brees Hall, Zach Wilson, 18 and 16 lineups. Barkley, Tyrod Taylor, Uzoma, Conklin, Slayton, and 6. Then it comes down to Garrett Wilson at 3, Ruckert at 3, Giants 3, Wandale 2, Brownlee at 1, Hyatt at 1, Jets defense at 1, Lazard at 1. So there's our setup, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a look at our lineups in the more proper way after we download them. And we just take a little trip right over here. Is it snoring blue? I don't know if you could hear it from the fucking microphone. It's the love of my life, my little snoring bulldog. Love you too, pal. There it is. All right. Good to see it working again. All right, let's take a look at the lineups. This is the best way to look at it. So what we got here? We got Taylor, Barkley, Conklin, Hall, Uzoma, Wilson. Let's take a look at the outliers in some of these. Ruckert being the sixth card. I play one unique player, trying to get it. The thing is, I'm always fucking missing on the sixth card. Conklin, Uzoma, Wilson, Uzoma. A lot of Uzoma here flipping in here. Woo! I like looking at the lineups. Taylor, Giants, Barkley, Hall, Ruckert, Wilson. Wilson, Barkley, Conklin, Hall, Ruckert, Taylor. Dale Robinson, a captain. I like that one. Got Robinson, a captain. Barkley, Hall, Taylor, Uzoma, Wilson. A lot of Uzoma. A lot of Uzoma. Look, Uzoma, that motherfucker almost won me fucking 80 grand. That fucking goddamn Jaguars Bengals game doesn't go into overtime. I was the winner at the end of regulation, but it went into overtime. And Evan McPherson kicked me right into eighth fucking place. Eighth fucking place. Cocksucker. Let me see the Zerline line. Where's the Zerline? There it is. Greg the Leg, captain. Brees Hall, Darius Slayton, Tyrod Taylor, Garrett Wilson, Zach Wilson. That could be interesting. All right, kids. May fate decide your fortune if you should win. Blow your money right here on the new Pharaoh's Lounge Kickstarter. As always, peace, love, war.